You look like you're ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I got things to say.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to Brooker Family Podcast. I'm Heather.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Channing.
This is a weekly pop culture and family entertainment show, and we're so glad that you're joining us today because this week it's all about the Man of Steel.
What?
Superman.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Why you say what? Like you didn't help me plan this episode.
I know. I'm doing it for the people.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing it for the people.
For the bit. It's a bit.
It's a bit.
So welcome back, every guys. We're going to be talking about Superman and here in a little bit. We've been doing a deep dive on the original
Old school
Superman movies.
First ever Superman movie.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be, we're getting ready to go on a vacation to Alaska.
Yes.
Who's excited?
First of all, it's a vacation, so
I'm
yes.
a little
Yes.
scared.
Why would you be scared?
Storms.
There's no storms.
Storms? What do you mean?
Storms, sharks, dolphins, the great white shark.
Do you think you're going to be in the ocean in Alaska? Or, because we're just going to be on a ship cruising by all
There's
that
not many
stuff.
great white sharks in Alaska.
Yeah.
They're in the ocean.
Okay, my goodness. Anyway, so we're going on a cruise to Alaska. And
Yes.
We're really excited about that.
I am excited.
Yeah, we've never been. Daddy's been, but
Long time
Shannon and
ago.
I've never been. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It looks really beautiful. And we will definitely fill you guys in on what we loved and what we would skip. We'll give you all the hot travel tips, as the travel influencers say.
You know, speaking of, it's so hot here. Alaska's going to be very refreshing.
Yes. Yes, I'm very excited about that.
I wish. Here's what I want to do.
Okay, what's that?
Go to Alaska, bring a cooler with me, get a bunch of snow from Alaska, put the snow in a cooler, bring it back on the ship and on the plane with me. Boom! Snow in California.
Wow, you got it all figured out.
That's a good
It's
plan.
gonna melt in 5 seconds, but
yes.
I don't care.
Okay, there you go. That's a good
totally
plan.
will.
Made it possible.
We'll pack a
people.
big cooler, I'm
Yes. All right, you guys, let's get started today with what we're breaking down this week.
Boom,
A little
boom, boom.
What's poppin' for us? What's poppin' is Superman.
sure. Yes.
So this was an idea that we had like maybe several weeks ago
Mm-hmm.
now, where Daddy said, for some reason you were like, let's watch Superman 1.
Well, you know, it stemmed from the pandemic. You know, we caught up on all the Marvel movies
Mm-hmm.
on the pandemic. We watched all these superhero movies and stuff like that. But I realized that Channing especially has never seen the original. I mean, and she watched Justice League, the new Justice League with us, and The Flash and stuff like that. She'd never seen the original Christopher Reeve Superman. You know, arguably the superhero movie that sort of started it all.
Mm-hmm.
And arguably, I would say Christopher Reeve is still one of the best, if not the best Superman.
Careful, those Henry Cavill fans will come for you.
Cavill's great, don't get me wrong, but Christopher Reeve, there's something about him who's
He just embodies.
he's majestic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just
he's majestic.
He's majestic. He was Superman. So
He's the OG.
He's the OG. All right,
Yes.
so Superman 1, you know, we watched 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting to me, the first thing I noticed about the progression of those movies is, one, the special effects got better. Because the first one came out, what, 78?
78.
Yeah. The special effects got better. But also, Christopher Reeves filled out the Superman costume more.
He did.
In
You
the
could tell
first
he worked
movie,
out. Yeah.
he looks like more Clark Kent than Superman. And by the end of it, he totally looks more like Superman cosplaying as Clark Kent. You know, like he could tell he had been working out between the movies.
Oh, he's got the broad shoulders.
Yeah,
and
he just grew up a lot. And he, you know, because it was what, about 10 years between the first and the third?
Pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. And the first one, you know, we see a little bit of Lex
No, I think it
Luthor.
was only about 6 years, actually.
Only 6 years? No.
I think so.
Well, there was 5 years between the first and the second. So there had to have been more between the first and
I'll
the
have to
third.
revisit the timeline, but yeah,
Well,
okay.
Fortunately,
Okay.
I have something here called the internet.
What's that?
Ooh.
All right. When did
Future
Superman 3
talk.
come out?
Oh, the internet is my bestie. Did you know that?
Why does it say Super Bowl 3? Let's see. Superman 3. Anyway, he made me forget man. I wrote, when did Super 3? All right, 83. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
And the first Superman came out in 78.
Wow. So
So I think it's 5 years.
They must have really cranked these out then.
Yeah.
So anyway, in the first Superman, we see Lex Luthor, who I think in later years was billed to be like this evil super villain. He was like the bad guy.
He's always the supervillain. Always
but like
the arch
he
nemesis.
was sort of this bumbling, like goofy.
Well, he surrounded himself with these bumbling, goofy people.
But I feel like Lex Luthor was that way in the films. He was bumbling and goofy, and I never really thought he was a bad villain.
He wasn't menacing.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. He wasn't menacing at all. He wasn't as evil as Lex Luthor should be.
Yeah.
Or how he is in the comics, I guess. Menacing is a perfect word for him.
Yeah, not menacing. And then we don't really see him as much. We don't see him at all in the third one, right?
He's not in the third one at all.
Yeah.
He was replaced by Robert Vaughn,
Yeah.
who played this evil tycoon.
Yeah, just random
Corporate tycoon who just wants to basically screw everybody over and make a lot of money.
Yeah. And
Wait.
Richard Pryor was in the third one.
For some reason.
Which, well, and we talked about the third one being really a lot more funny and
Yeah.
kind of goofy than the
Yeah.
other ones. And I was thinking about this and I'm like, I think it's because Richard Pryor was in that one. And the studio execs were like, you know what? All the people who love comedy and love comedians are going to come see this movie. So we got to make it funny for
Think
them.
of the time frame. 83.
I guarantee you that was a conversation that was had behind the scenes. They're like, you know what we got to do? We got to make this funny so people will laugh because Richard Pryor's in it.
And Richard Pryor was a hot commodity
Yeah.
in the early 80s.
Yes.
He was the number one comedian.
Oh,
he
for
was
sure.
SNL. He was live on the Sunset Strip. He was the comedian
Yes.
to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that being said, I know, did you say Superman 3 was your favorite out of all of them?
And Superman 2 is my favorite
Superman
out of
2.
all of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
With Zod and
Yeah.
Non.
Yeah.
Which one of you liked the best so far?
Kneel
Jan?
before Zod.
Honestly, I just want to say, what happened to Otis?
What did happen to Otis? Well, remember in Superman 2, Lex Luthor left Otis in prison.
Yeah, but what happened to him?
He's still there. He's in jail.
He's still in prison. He got life sentence.
Does
Yeah.
he get out?
Not so far. Not so far as we've watched.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say no. He never got it.
He's still there. Life in prison. But what have you thought about the movie so far?
I thought it was good.
Yeah. Which one did you like best so far?
Excuse me.
This is a real dramatic pause here.
Drum roll, please.
Yes.
Number one.
The first one.
The first
The
one.
first one was honestly my favorite because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Woo, who's that Lois Lane?
Yeah. You were like just discovering all the characters and, what
Well,
did
it's
you
the origin story.
Yeah, what did you think about like the special effects of them flying and stuff and his changing his costume and all that?
So in this one, I noticed that it was since it's old timey.
Yeah.
It didn't really look very realistic, you
Sure.
know.
Sure.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, that's all.
Well, back then that was
Okay.
that was pretty groundbreaking special effects. They actually made it look like back then it looked like he was actually flying, and that's what sold people on the movie. That was the tagline of the movie: "You'll believe a man can fly."
Yeah.
And that's what they build the whole movie on, was these special effects that could make Christopher Reeve look like Superman flying. And for the most part, for being late 70s, early 80s, they did a pretty good job.
Well, and I think the graphics, the graphics got better, the theming got better.
Oh, yeah.
The special effects got better.
Well, the score is, that's the Superman theme.
Yes.
And it's been reused in movies since then.
Yeah. It's they just got progressively better and he got more interesting as a character, but it also kind of got a little more cheesy, like Channing said, or like how did oh my God, Jimmy Olsen fall off the ladder and he had dirt all over his face, and like how did that like there's some stuff that you're like, wait a minute, when you rewatch those old movies, you're like, how did they get away with this? But I guess as film audiences, we're not as savvy as they are now, where people wouldn't let, filmmakers get away with anything.
Well, there was no internet. There were no internet trolls to, break things down and stuff like that. No blooper reels necessarily. So
yeah. Well, it's been really enjoyable to sort of go back through and rewatch these movies because they were truly a piece of Americana. Like the world sort of came together and was like, this is our Superman.
It was. It was.
And this is our hero. And I feel like it truly set in motion the love of superheroes and those characters since then. The problem, we've talked about this before a little bit, is DC didn't know where to go after that. It's like they just lost their way and have been struggling to find their way back with Superman. They tried to make him dark. They tried to make him something he wasn't.
Yeah.
Superman is light and bright and Americana,
Yeah.
like a beacon of hope, if you will. And I feel like
truth, justice, in the American way.
Exactly. And I feel like that's something that's been missing from the Superman storyline for a very long time. And so DC has lost their way a little bit.
Well, I think in the Cavill Superman movies, they never once utter truth, justice, in the American way.
Well, no, I don't think Superman has ever said
Yes,
that, right?
he said that in the first movie. He goes, I stand for truth,
you're
justice,
right.
in the American way, which is straight out of the comic books.
Yes.
But it's never once mentioned in the Snyder.
No, they made him very dark and brooding.
And they tried again with Brandon Routh. His take on Superman was a little bit more like
good.
that. He was good.
Yeah.
He was very good. Disappointing that he never went beyond one movie, but and we'll watch that movie soon.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, guys. So let's talk a little bit about what we're watching. Any recommendations right now that we're really into?
I've got one that's on my radar that I haven't watched yet, but I've definitely pegged it to watch soon. And it's a Netflix show that's it's getting really good marks on Netflix, and it's Jamie Foxx's return to form. They clone Tyrone on Netflix.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yep, it's getting really good marks, and a lot of people are saying that the whole Barbie and Oppenheimer blow up is kind of overshadowing this movie, which is actually supposed to be really good on Netflix. They cloned Tyrone. I want to see it.
Okay. All right. It's on our list.
It's on my list.
And then why don't you... Oh, go ahead, Chan.
Do you know what it's about?
Not 100%. I
that's
know
why
there's someone named Tyrone that gets cloned.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's in the title, I think.
It's in the title. All right, Daddy, keep it rolling. Then tell us what we should listen to over Brooker Beats.
Oh, right into Brooker Beats, where it's a blast of the past for me anyway. There's a band out of Kansas City. They're called the Daybirds.
Okay.
And years ago, we're talking like 99, 2000, they came out with an album called Turnstile that I loved. And I did a brief radio show for a college station a long time ago. And I played one of their songs, and I loved it. And this song has been in my head for years now, and I could never find it on streaming. Well, they've re-released their album, Turnstile, on streaming right now. So my recommendation this week is out of Kansas City, the Daybirds' Turnstile. It's great. It's Beatlesque. It's pure pop goodness. I would highly recommend it. It's really good. The Daybirds.
Speaking
Turnstile.
of something joyful and positive and happy,
Yes.
that's definitely the Daybird sound. Were they in the Garden State soundtrack?
No, not at all. They
Who
are
am I
purely
thinking
a
of?
local band.
Oh, okay.
Out of Kansas City.
Okay.
They didn't get much farther than a couple of albums, but for some reason, and I'm still reading up on the history of this, they've re-released Turnstile to streaming, which is great for me because I've been looking for it on streaming. I actually have the album on CD.
Yes, we know your CDs. You have
Stored
millions.
away in our garage, but I don't even have a CD player anymore to listen to it. So I'm so jazzed it's finally streaming because it's like Beatlesque, it's pop, it's just fun to listen to, and it's a good solid music as well. So the Daybirds Turnstile is my pick of the week.
All right. We love it. Start playing it around the house then.
I will.
Yay. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you have a moment, please check out our...
Merch!
Where can they find it?
On our website, I think everyone knows that it starts with W.
Yes.
BrookerFriendlyPodcast.com.
Yes, and go check it out, please. So give us your support. We would be so grateful.
Wear our face.
Wear our face. Please take a minute to subscribe to our show. Give us a 5-star review. If you would, please, you can listen to our show on every major podcast player or watch it on Apple TV. Just search Brooker Family Podcast. Thanks so much, you guys, and have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Peace.